Hey guys, welcome back to this tutorial on how to build your own universal motor driver. Now this is tutorial number 3. In this tutorial we're going to review the circuitry. That is the test circuit for this IC. So this is L120A, which is a linear integrated circuit that is a triac SCR phase control that is inside the chip. Now we only going to build the test circuit that they used to test this IC, and on doing so we're going to replace the load here as our motor. And they do have a circuit that they tested here for the motor, and that is exactly this circuit, and it is basically the same typical circuit. Now in this one here they're just adding an AC tachometer so that they can also measure, have a good control loop, a feedback for the speed, because the tachometer will be connected on the motor shaft and giving an indication of exactly how much is the speed of the motor, and then further regulate the control of the SRC that is driving the motor. So now in this tutorial we're going to basically just build this circuit, redraw the circuit, and then we're going to do the PCB layout. Now as we've demonstrated on the previous tutorial that the previous circuit was built on a strip board, a variable board. Now in this tutorial we're going to redraw the circuit and make a PCB layout and etch the PCB, basically a proper PCB. Hopefully our circuit will be working without a lot of problems as in the previous one that we needed to debug. Now if you stay tuned, you're going to see exactly what we're going to do. They haven't given away, the manufacturer of this IC haven't given away much information, but we can see the typical applications that this thing can do and the absolute maximum ratings. You are welcome to go through the IC if you're going to dive into this application. And this is a building block. Now the building block is a very important one because each pins, you can actually see where each pin is feeding into. So, and that gives you an indication of what exactly the pin is expecting, whether it's an output or an input. By looking at the building blocks inside, you can see what's happening inside there basically. And we also have an internal circuitry, basically just a bunch of transistors, okay, doing what they know best. Now this is the test circuit. Now this test circuit is exactly the same one that they use on the strip board that we demonstrated on tutorial 1. So the first element that I spotted was this RS. So the RS was a cement resistance, a big one. So it had actually burned out and it fell open. So there was no more current flowing into the driver. Although your triac, the load here, could still get the AC, but because the driver was no longer receiving the current so that it can control, so the driver was not working anymore. So then it was not firing on your gate anymore. So basically the circuit was dead. You can have your load there but nothing is happening. So this indicates that this resistance here is very critical. So you have to make sure that at all time it's able to take the 7 watt. Actually it should not go all the way to 7 watt, but they suggest to use a 7 watts so that the resistance can have some breathing room. So when I tested the circuit, now on standby, this circuit was drawing about 5 watt. That is without connecting anything. So you just plugged it on your AC circuit and you put it on, about 5 watt being drawn. Now all of that power was being burned through this resistance. So if this resistance is not properly set with the heat sink and all of that, it's gonna end up burning shorted or open depending. So that is a very critical element to note on the use and how this resistance should be positioned in your circuit. Now going in through the data sheet, I found out that there was an alternative circuit, this one here, and it says figure 6 alternative system for reduction of power dissipation. And that is exactly the power dissipation that is being dissipated through this RS, whether the thing is driving or it's just on standby mode, not doing anything, there was still power being dissipated. And imagine burning 5 watts just for not doing anything. That's a waste of money. So they provided this alternative circuit here, and you can see it's wired slightly different. And instead of having a 7 watt resistance, they have a 3 watt resistance. And instead of having a 6.8 kilo ohm, yes, 6.8 kilo ohm, they have a 47 kilo ohm. So automatically you can see there is less current going in and there will be less power being drawn. So I tested this circuit, connected quickly, and effectively it was drawing less power. I believe it was somewhere around 2 to 3 watt, very little, about half of what was being dissipated on the previous one. So I decided to draw my circuit using this particular setup. Now the circuit they use here on application circuit for AC motor speed controller, ideally this is a circuit that one should use, ideally. But if you opt to use this circuit, then you need to make sure that you have an AC tachometer. If you don't have an AC tachometer, then it's no use using this alternative circuit. But you can see they still have that 6.8 kilowatts, so it's going to use still more power. But you can, certainly you can implement this setup here into this setup, and ensuring that you have your tachometer connected and all of this network here to have a smooth feedback circuit. Okay, now enough of that. So then I went ahead and draw my circuit with that alternative power. Okay, so what we see here is a test circuit redrawn. So I've basically redrawn the test circuit with the alternative power dissipations. Now I'm not going to go through it to explain exactly detail by detail how I did the connections, but believe you me, it's exactly the same circuit. As you can see the connections of every input and output on the driver, and also going into your triac here. So you have your input AC, and that is going, and that would be your output. Neutral out is basically coming from your triac side. I'm not going to go through the details of how I did this, but that's exactly the same circuit. The only thing I've added here is the diode and the LED here, and that is basically just to indicate that if we have our AC connected, then we should have an indication to just tell us that there is power on the circuit. Even if the driver is not running, we should know that there is power. So that is why I wired this LED, and then I put a 1M fuse and also that MOV there to protect the circuit. So that is it. So what I'm going to do, so this is not going to be a tutorial on how to do a layout, so we'll do that on the coming tutorial, but this one is just to demonstrate how I did my PCB layout for this. So if you go on update, so your schematic should update, and then you're going to click on validate the change, and then you're going to execute the change. So it basically checking all your schematic nets and everything, and it's going to import it into your PCB layout. So this is basically what you're going to have. So I've already have a PCB that is redrawn here. I'm just going to include a dimension. So how do you get a dimension again? So we come on place, okay, dimension, you're gonna place a linear dimension. So what, and let's do that on the drill drawing layer. So place dimension linear. So you're just going to come and connect there, okay, and then you come and connect there as well, basically that. And if you want to connect on this other side as well, you're gonna do the same thing, connect there and connect the one end, and you should just shift it like that. Okay, so this is in millis, we just need to change it in millimeter. So we're just gonna come there millimeters and millimeters. So that basically tells us that we're going to have a PCB that's going to have 71.2 millimeter on one side and 76.9 on the other side. And if we go into 3D view here, so what I have here is the cement resistance. So now you can see that I've just connected it on the board here because now the thing is now going to be drawing about 2 watt. So there is no need to put it on a heatsink anymore because it's going to be running pretty cold compared to this cement resistor that I'm going to select to use in the circuit. Is going to be a 10 watt, but the thing is going to be just drawing about 2 watt. So you can see there's about 8 watt just to make sure that it's running cold. Okay, so now we have all the connection and basically the schematic component that we need to place on our PCB. Now I'm going to place all these SMD component into the bottom layer. Okay, so the rest of the component should stay on the top layer. So now we can start placing the component. So we first place our input connector J4, and then we place the output that's also going. So the input gonna be this way and the output is going to be this way. Okay, so I've completed placing all my components on the PCB as I want them to be, exactly where I want them to be. Now we can view the 3D viewer, and we can see exactly where every component is going to be placed. So this is now the cement resistance that's going to be dissipating about 2 to 3 watt of power, and that will be my power in, and that will be the power out going into the motor. So this is the triac, and that's my motor driver, and this one here is going to be the connection for the potentiometer that basically will be controlling the speed of the motor. Okay, and the forward reverse of the motor is going to be done with the toggle switch, the forward and reverse toggle switch. So that's basically my test circuit with the alternative power dissipations on a small PCB compared to the strip board that we had on the previous tutorial. Okay, so now the only thing that's left now to do on this circuit here is now to connect all the tracks, and that is called routing. Okay, so I'm now going to connect every track exactly as the routing suggests that I should do. Now I can do automatic routing, but that is sometimes going to take tracks to where I don't want them to go. So I rather do manual interactive routing, then I know exactly where I want all my tracks to go, and the thickness of the tracks and all of that, you can also configure them. Now, as I say, this is not a tutorial on how to use Altium Designer or how to do PCB layout. So this is just a tutorial on a motor driver, how you can build your own PCB and configure it to work exactly the way you want it to work. Okay, so we've completed connecting all the tracks on our circuit. There is no track that is unconnected. There is no unconnected net. That's a proper language to use. Now you can run the design rule check to make sure that every track is indeed connected, and ensure that you don't leave a track unconnected, because if you do, then you're going to be connecting wires at the end of your circuit. So this is how this circuit is going to look like. Okay, so guys, so this is now going to be the end of this tutorial for now. So in the next tutorial, I'm going to take you into the process of how to etch this board, and in the end we should have a PCB that we can connect and solder all our components and have a circuit that we can test. So stay tuned for the next tutorial. Please like and share and subscribe to CMTEQ channel. That will be highly appreciated. I thank you so much. Until next time, cheers.